again, I'm Rodney from 3dgameman.com, and this poll video is about legislating the internet. Do you think legislating the internet is a good idea? Now, I just did a Q&A video on Canada's new anti-spam legislation. I will link that video above if you want to check it out, but it basically means that as of July the 1st, 2014, companies cannot send out spam or commercial electronic messages in any form, whether it be through email, SMS, any kind of messenger, any kind of electronic communication. When you're sending stuff out to individuals now and companies and etc., you have to get consent from that person, you have to identify yourself, and you also need to have some kind of unsubscribe button or link within that communication. Now, this could be good, this could be bad. I think personally it's a bad idea. You know what? You can kind of limit yourself and protect yourself on the internet or through SMS or any other means of communication by installing apps and software yourself. You don't need to get governments involved with legislating, basically it's a bylaw for the internet kind of deal, because if companies send out stuff and they don't get consent to identify themselves and unsubscribe button, they could be in a ton of trouble. Now, spam is a nuisance. Yes, I agree with that. Spam, and I get tons of it. But then again, I don't really get tons of it because I know what measures to take and implement them to stop me from getting all that spam. There's all kinds of measures. Get a great online email, service. Like, for example, Gmail, which is Google's, but it could be anything, Microsoft, etc. All of them have a slew of anti-spam technology built into it. And for the most part, when I check my spam folder in Google, Gmail, it is full. I mean full of junk. I just delete it all, pretty much, because everything that's in there, and if there's something in there that's valuable, well, c'est la vie. There's nothing super and so valuable in that. And if your bank is trying to get hold of you, or your doctors are usually not going to go through any kind of email communication. They will call you, they will get in contact with you another way, snail mail, and so on and so forth. So, legislating the internet, whether it be anti-spam legislation or whatever, I think it's a bad idea. I think the internet should be left alone, leave it open, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. You've got, internet's global. It's not kind of like a local bylaw. It's different. It's global. And, implementing anti-spam legislation, which is one legislation that is now coming into effect in Canada, how is that going to stop spam from coming from other countries? It's not. It's just not. And some of those other countries will never agree to legislate the internet. Ever, never, ever. I think in a few years from now, the internet will not be like it is today, and it is changing as of 2014 as well. And going forward from here, it will change even more as governments, and there's more rules and laws and stuff, governing how you can, act on the internet, what you can do on the internet, how you can send communications on the internet, and really it's, I guess, not only about the internet, but other forms of electronic communication as well. So I would like to hear from you on this. Do you think it's a good idea to legislate the internet in any form, or should it be left open and individuals and companies themselves have the tools and knowledge which are there now to, protect themselves online, whether it be from, someone trying to be a fraud, someone sending you something fraudulent, or somebody sending you something that's spam and that type of thing. I think it should be left open. You shouldn't legislate the internet. It should be left alone in its current form, and, be aware of what the internet and about electronic communications, be aware of what it's about. Personally, I think it's probably the older generation that really get taken by a lot of these, people who are involved with fraudulent activities and spam and that kind of stuff, because if, for example, I was to get something from my bank saying all of my accounts are going to be closed, you have to click here on my PayPal account now and enter all your information, I wouldn't do it. I would know right away that's completely wrong. They wouldn't be contacting me that way. It would be through mail or telephone call, or I would have to go into the bank or whatnot to go through that kind of procedure. So I think, in all honesty, it's not the younger generation that's wanting to legislate the internet. It's probably the older generation, that don't quite know and about certain things and activities that can happen online and that you should be aware of, because it is difficult to keep up on all this stuff, and really some people aren't that involved in it. So I think a lot of people will see this Canada's new anti-spam legislation as a good thing, but I think a lot of us tech guys and tech gals will think it's a bad thing, because it's just really, it's just one step along this kind of road that the internet could take that could make it such a boring, unattractive place. Anyway, let me know how you feel, and head on over to 3dgameman.com and vote.